Hello everyone and welcome to the Mystic Tides Tarot YouTube channel. This is my first video. Yay! I feel inclined to talk a lot more about that. I don't know if that's going to be in this reading or not, but it is a huge part of the reason why I chose today's topic for the reading, which is the courage to begin, specifically for those that are stuck before they even start, essentially. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, who knows, depending on your perspective, this is something that I have struggled with a lot of my life, and this YouTube channel has been no exception to that. So yeah, why don't we just get started with this reading and let's see how this goes. So this tarot deck that I am using is none other than the beautiful Vesper tarot. And this is by Veronica. I don't want to butcher her last name. She's Italian, and she also has a YouTube channel. And she's an artist. I mean, you know, you can have a tarot deck and you can create a tarot deck and not be an artist. You can hire an artist and just write like the meanings of the cards in the booklet, but she did both, and she is a full-time artist. So this deck came to me at a pivotal time in my life. Pivotal, can I even talk? At a pivotal time in my life, and I thought it would be the perfect deck to do the first reading with. So without further ado, let's go. Let's get started on this conversation. So let's talk about the courage to begin in the first place. Where do we find this courage? That's what I want to know. Where the heck do we even find it? Four of Swords. Oh no, that's Five of Swords. Oh, we gotta fight a little bit. We got the Queen of Wands. And Strength, of course, of course. In order to find the courage, we must be strong enough to pursue it. So we have the Five of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and the Strength card. With the Five of Swords, this tells me that it's going to require some type of a mental battle. And essentially, that's what's going to have to go down every single time you are trying to do something that you have not been doing already, because you are bringing forth change and also the unknown into your life, which our bodies and brains dislike dramatically. So, you know, makes sense, right? With the Queen of Wands, we have someone who is confident, who is charisma embodied, and is actually one of my favorite cards at the moment. She represents an ancestor for me, a guide, especially and specifically on this journey. So I feel like she is coming forth and she is telling me, you should advise them to find someone that will help them on that journey. Whether you believe in spiritual guides or not is beside the point. But if you do, then, you know, definitely use that. It doesn't have to be an ancestor. In my case, it was an ancestor, but I make it a point to work with ancestors. So that's why I think my guide for what I'm going through in this journey came forth being an ancestor. But the Queen of Wands is someone who is going to help you embody that confidence that we need to embody before we even think we're ready to embody it. And I love this card too, the way she drew it, because you have her main character here and she's like learning. So essentially, even in this card, it's like the Queen of Wands is her guide, you know. Let me bring it up closer so you can see what I'm talking about. And I just realized I think I'm gonna have to blur this out because of the whole nudity thing on YouTube. But yes, it's beautiful that this card came out because, yeah, it definitely represents my guide on this journey. So her coming in basically saying, I'm glad that you started doing this. I also offer this work that I'm doing to my spiritual counsel as well as her. So her popping in, it's just extra sweet. And it's something that I definitely needed, especially this being my first video, because it has been nerve-wracking. But yeah, like I definitely recommend not trying to do it alone. I know that I'm notoriously known within like the few besties that I have as being a massive hermit, an introvert. But that's not actually who I feel that I am at my core, but that's kind of who I've made myself be because of all of the walls that I've put up to protect myself, my inner child, basically. And so asking for help was exceptionally difficult in all areas of my life. And even especially when it came to like something that's tied to spirituality, because, you know, doing tarot for me is very spiritual. I know it's not for every tarot reader, and I know it's not for every person. A lot of people like to take psychological approaches to tarot. I'm not saying that those are not valid or that I don't believe in them. I'm just saying that that's not how I see the tarot. For me, the tarot is so much more than I could possibly describe in words. And tarot has definitely helped me and saved me on many occasions. So this is another way of me kind of like sharing that with you all, is to try to give you some of what tarot has given me. And it's completely tied into my spirituality. But yeah, this Queen of Wands. Find support where you can. If you do have the courage to ask for help outside of, you know, your spiritual team or your ancestors or your guides or, you know, energies, the universe, God, whatever it is that you believe in, then go ahead and do so. But do not think that that is the only way to receive help, because your belief in your belief in the universe, your belief in, like I said, all those things I mentioned before, that is what's going to carry you through those moments that you feel you are absolutely alone and have no one. So really try to seek that, because that is also going to help you find that courage to begin whatever new journey it is that you're trying to embark on, because life is chock full of those. There's nothing that's going to remain the same except for that things change. Like, that is the constant, right? I think that we've all kind of already heard that. So I don't think that I'm saying anything new there, but you know, there you go. So yeah, Queen of Wands coming through to remind us that we might need a mentor. We might need a guide. We might need someone, something, some energy larger than ourselves or in a different place than we are totally, to help guide us through what we're trying to do. Because if we could do it by ourselves, we would have already done it. Not saying that I believe that, okay, can these like stop sliding? Not saying that we do anything completely entirely by ourselves ever, but you know, that's going into like my whole spiritual belief system and things like that, which I think I'm going to talk about more maybe somewhere else, or yeah. Anyways, let's keep going. So how do we even find this courage, right? It's going to probably be some kind of mental battle, or a battle with a part of ourselves, because we naturally want to fight change, right? We want to be comfortable. We're being advised to seek a type of guide, or external, or higher than yourself, higher than where you're at right now, guide. Then we have the Strength card. I mean, we kind of already knew that in order to be courageous, you have to have some kind of a strength, or you have to embody strength, at least for a time being, because how do you even have courage without strength? Is that even something that's possible? I guess we can get philosophical about it, but I don't think this is the place. But the Strength being the only major arcana that showed up tells me that strength is not something that you're going to be able to abandon. Because like I said before, the only thing that's constant in life is change. Change is what? Uncomfortable, and you're going to have to fight, right? So this becomes a permanent resident. It doesn't mean that you're constantly feeling like, oh, I'm not strong enough, and you're reaching for something that you can't quite be, that you can't embody. It's kind of like this reminder of, yes, this is going to require strength, because guess what? It is not easy, right? Like if something's easy, you don't require strength. It's easy, right? So it's just like that reminder of, don't forget what you're signing up for is not supposed to be super easy. And this can come in a plethora of different examples, right? Like it could be like physically difficult, mentally difficult, emotionally difficult, spiritually difficult. It could be all kinds of difficult, all of those as well at once, which would definitely suck, but it does happen, right? And so I feel like this is just like that big old reminder, like, remember, I didn't say it was going to be easy. You want to do this thing. You're really about it. Well, then buckle up. And this is also, this card is also like a blessing, because it's advice that's given to you before you even go there. But let's be real, you already knew that you were going to have to be strong, because even if you didn't know it consciously, you knew it subconsciously. And that's why it's hard for you to start, because you want to be safe. You want it to be easy. And that's not trying to say that you don't seek challenges elsewhere in life. Like, let's not downplay ourselves, because we can be very courageous in certain areas of our life and completely crumbling in others. And I've experienced this myself. You know, a lot of the people that I know, they think that I can be very outspoken and stand up for what I believe in and, you know, loud. And I most definitely can. But there's also parts of me that are soft and vulnerable and scared and wounded and are confused, you know? So let's keep all of that in mind. You know, whenever I'm reading and telling you certain things, I am never going to see things, or I hope that I never come off as, and I hope that you don't, see things as black and white, even though this deck is black and white. I'm sorry. I thought that was funny. But yeah, you get my drift. If you've stuck around this long, you're probably one of my people. So you get my drift. But yeah, this is what it takes to even get the courage in the first place. It's like, what do I need to be courageous? To be courageous. Like, it's so funny. I can't. The tarot cracks me up all the time. We have our moments where, you know, it's like tears, sadness, anger, but there's also smiles, happy tears, and epiphanies, grandiose moments, and so on and so forth. But yeah, so what do we got to do to be courageous? This is what we got to do. That's it. You're done. Goodbye. No, I'm really going to try to keep this video shorter though, because I'm using my phone and the software to edit. Oh my God, not like you freaking care. But the software to edit is like extra special. And so like, I'm just fearing that if this video goes on too long, I won't even be able to edit and upload it, and that would be a waste, because it's been such an amazing reading so far, right? So we don't want to go through that. This is definitely like a test run, but also me committing. But anyways, enough ranting. This is what it takes to get the courage, find the courage, establish the courage, right? So this is like the pre-work. Now, maybe you've been like, I've been strong, okay? Like, I've been doing the work. What are you talking about? Like, you mean I have to be even stronger? And I could go on about that, but let's see what the cards have to say, because I understand that sometimes stuckness is extremely complicated. And telling somebody, oh, you just got to be strong. You're going to have some mental battles. You just got to be strong. Like, definitely seek guidance. Like, that's like the biggest advice that I see coming through from those first three cards. Definitely seek guidance, spiritual guidance. You know what? Let's get specific, because I'm probably going to have so little views on this first video that whoever sees it, the probability that this is exactly the reading they needed to hear is going to be quite high. So let's get a little specific with what type of a spiritual guide would be best suited for, you know, getting unstuck so you can begin, you know, getting that courage to begin. What kind of guide are we looking for here? Maybe let's look at like personality kind of guide. Oh, that's cute. You're a softie. Oh, here we go again with the fighting. Well, like, Whereas the Five of Swords was like more like internal battle in this reading, because I'm not giving you the definition exactly of that card. That's not the kind of reading I do. Maybe I should have said and talked about what kind of reader. Wow, what kind of reader I am first. But oh well, we live and we learn. But yeah, this one is arguments. You could call it fighting with others. This Ten of Pentacles, we're talking about not just being abundant with like you collecting your money because you're a hard worker, like, or like you building a skill to the point of mastery. Like this is way beyond that. We're talking about you got so much money, honey, that this is generational wealth now. And then right here, we got the Three of Cups. Three of Cups. This is, whoa, did I just wobble the hell out of that camera? I need to be careful. I get a little emotional when I read. As that spirit coursing through me. Anyways, Three of Cups is celebration with loved ones. So this tells me this spiritual guide that you're going to be connecting with, that you should seek to connect with. And this is something that you can say also when you're asking them to show for you. And, you know, like one thing I like to believe in, especially if you're just starting on your spiritual journey, if you're not, you don't have to like listen to this, but if you're just starting, is set out the intention that whatever comes forward is never going to spook you enough to like stop. You're always free to basically boss around the energies that you're welcoming into your space and those that you're not welcoming into your space. Like set your boundaries just like you set your boundaries with people, or just like you should set your boundaries with people, because that could be another topic. Maybe that'll be the topic I pull on next. We'll see. But this spiritual guide that is best suited for you in this situation is going to be someone that you can have a good time with, someone that is going to give you this emotional connection and depth that you need, that might even be giving you that like spiritual hug, and that's going to be here for a good time for you. The Ten of Pentacles tells me, in combination with this, that this is an ancestor. This is like, maybe it's your deceased grandfather or godfather or uncle. I don't know why I'm feeling masculine for some reason. Maybe it's because it has to do with getting the courage to move and do action oriented, but I'm getting more of like a fatherly, paternal figure for the spirit guide here. But definitely someone who either it was a blood ancestor or someone that was so close to you that you called them relative. That's who this is. And the Five of Wands doesn't tell me, oh, you're going to fight with them, but this tells me that they're willing to fight for you. So this is someone who's going to be in your corner. This is someone who's going to give you these spiritual hugs. This is someone who's not going to let you get stepped on. Or if you are in some kind of altercation or like little argument or whatever, they're going to make sure that you don't leave feeling defeated. And this is someone, like I said, that comes from generations back. So I don't know how many, but that's what I'm getting here.